Hey everyone, it's Deja from CrochetEverAfter.com. Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to eliminate the gaps that you get when you do turning chains, usually for any stitches above half double crochet, when you're doing your turning chain and then starting your stitch in the very next stitch. So what that means is, a lot of times patterns will say, this is all double crochet. They'll say chain 3 and it'll count as a double crochet, which means that you don't work into that very first stitch that you have below. And because you're moving into your next stitch, when you actually make your stitch, you end up having this little gap that shows up on every other row. So when you hold your work, you have these holes. Now, one solution for this, you'll see that they say don't count your chain 3 as a double crochet, and you actually crochet into that hole that you normally would skip. And what that results in is kind of this bumpy edge on every other row. So both are kind of not ideal. You either get the big gap or you get the big bump. So I have an alternate method that you can use. As you can see, I have no gaps and not really any bump. It's very, very slight. It looks very straight and much neater than these two methods below. And I'm going to show you how to do this method. It's super easy, and you can use it for any stitch. So you can use it for half double, double, treble, anything you want. All you're going to do is just adjust the very first thing that I'm going to show you that you're going to do. So, instead of chaining 3 or whatever your turning chain calls for, you're simply going to make one chain. Now the difference is you're going to pull, before you make that first chain, about the height that your stitch is going to be. So I'm making a double crochet, so I'm going to pull my chain, or my loop that I have, out to about the size of a double crochet. It might take a little bit for you to get used to knowing how far you should pull it out, but you're just going to pull it out slightly, and then you're going to make your chain. And that kind of anchors your loop so it doesn't go anywhere. Then you're going to do a regular double crochet into that very first stitch. So you're not going to skip that first stitch. So you can use this in place of any pattern that tells you to count their turning chain as a stitch. So when I do that, I get no gap and I get a very minimal bump. So as you can see, I have used it right here, so you can see my real long chain and then my double crochet. And when you're looking at the whole thing, you can see the difference. You can see the bumps from the chain 3s that I did below, and you can see how much less bumpy my chain 1 is. So anytime you need to use a turning chain, you can substitute this method. So if I was doing a treble, I would just pull it out a little bit taller, and then do my chain, and treble right into that very first stitch. And you'll see that it almost creates just kind of a line right next to it. Much less noticeable than if I were to do a chain 4 like I normally would. And it also is much less noticeable than the giant gap that I would get, because the bigger your stitch, the bigger that gap usually ends up being. So with my chain 4, and if I skip that very first stitch, you can see I have a really big gap in between. So this is a great method. You can substitute it in any pattern. It is at your discretion, but that is how you can get rid of those gaps and bumps from your turning chains when you're working your crochet. Thank you for watching.